Hi everyone, welcome to Legal Connect. Welcome to another episode from this space. Wow, where should I start from on today's episode? A lot has happened since the last video, as you can imagine. Reading today's news, 33 billion naira wiped out of the Nigerian economy. The central bank governor and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Buhari, has basically crashed the Nigerian economy. This is what we were saying when we said the policy is good, but the implementation is terrible. Well, that is most of what we'll be discussing on today's episode. Before I dived into today's episode, I want to encourage you to like the program, provide your comment, and then share the program, share the video, share it with your friends, share it with your close pals, and let's engage and discuss the legal issues affecting Nigeria and Nigerians. Boy, reading the papers in the last few weeks or the last few days has been terrible. Even watching some videos, horrific videos that I cannot even explain on this space, taking into consideration how far the Nigerian citizens have been pushed. Well, part of the episode today is actually looking at the objectives of the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is the core responsibility of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the reason why the Central Bank of Nigeria is in existence. You can get these basic objectives, the principle of the Central Bank of Nigeria from the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007. That is section 2 of that act. And if you go to the website of the Central Bank of Nigeria, it is there on the page about the CBN. It is spelled out. The CBN, the principal objects of the CBN shall be to ensure monetary and price stability, issue legal tender currency in Nigeria, maintain external reserves to safeguard the international value of the legal tender currency, promote a sound financial system in Nigeria, and act as banker and provide economic and financial advice to federal government. That is basically the principle of the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is basically what Mr. Godwin Emefiele ought to be championing as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. However, in my own opinion, the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele, has indirectly exceeded the power given to him under the Constitution, because the Central Bank Governor is neither the Electoral Commission or INEC chairman, but the policy he has introduced is having an influence on the election that is scheduled for this month. He may have said that I'm trying to stabilize the economy. However, that is not the true sense of this policy. The true sense of this policy is to influence the narrative, to influence the organization of that election. Why did I say so? This government, the government of Mr. Buhari, or President Muhammadu Buhari, has been in power for the last 8 years. Why is it that they chose few months before the election to bring in this policy? Does the central bank governor has the power to influence the election? I would say no. He doesn't have that power. No law within the Nigerian constitution or other enabling laws enacted by the National Assembly gives the central bank governor the power to either directly or indirectly influence the election. But this policy is doing that. And we've heard Mr. President saying that this policy has been introduced in order to stop people paying for vote. Even the governor, even the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no power to influence or to control the happenings of the election. And this act that these people have done is what is called ultra-virus. This is acting outside of your power. And everybody is just comfortable with it. Nigerians are facing hardship as a result of this policy. It is good to have a digital economy, but not at the expense of Nigerians dying, starving. He has introduced this policy, and yet it is the people that are supposed to be supporting this policy that are now violating the principles of this policy. You read and you see banks managers, banks executive stealing the new currency. Are they not going to bring this currency back into the economy outside of the banking system? And whereas the ordinary Nigerians are starving, can't even get money to pay for proper food. And the people, the banks that are supposed to make this process as simple as possible, are the ones making it difficult and harder and sending the same money back out of the banking system. I don't blame them. I blame the central bank governor. The way he has crashed through this process. How could he introduce this policy without no proper plan in place to make sure that the banks does what they are required to do, that is issue currencies out to Nigerians, even if it's a fraction of what they what they want out of the bank. There is no proper structure. You've given money to the banks, issue currency out, but the banks that you've given money to are diverting the money, giving it to their political friends in order for them to do what we're trying to prevent, which is vote buying, election rigging, which in my opinion is not within your power to do as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Furthermore, let's look at the e-payment system or the network payment system. Are the bank equipped to deal with the traffic that they are experiencing now? I look at my bank. I'm having problem accessing the full application of my bank. All my transactional history, they are all gone. I contacted my bank, what is happening, welcome. I can see everything within my banking system. They said, it's a national problem. Everyone is experiencing it. Even the bank official that I spoke to is experiencing the same thing, which makes me understand that the banks were not ready, we're not equipped. You cannot have this policy and start from the bottom and work your way up. Rather, you should have put in place mandatory policy requiring the banks to be equipped to deal with the traffics that they will be experiencing. People are sleeping at cash points. I know that is what policy is trying to prevent getting money out of the cash point. But however, the country is at the mercy of the POS vendors who are extorting Nigerians of their hard-earned money, requesting 10,000 naira in order to give out 50,000 naira. And even though the government and the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria are trying to stop huge currency going out of the banking system, it is still happening because the POS vendors are issuing money to people that can afford it at an exorbitant rate, at a high rate, a high interest rate. If the whole network system were put in place, that people are effectively, they are able to make payment digitally, I don't think the frustration, the hardship would have been so severe, even though it could be argued that over 40% of the different parts of Nigeria are ill-equipped, doesn't even have the required electricity or internet facilities to process digital payments. And yet, we are pushing hard. We must have a digital economy, whether by hook or by crook. And what is the result of that? Sending people to their early grave, starving people to death. I read about some politicians saying that this is a good thing that has happened. It is not a good thing when the innocent people are dying. That is what is happening in Nigeria today. The economy is at a standstill. The economy that was already crawling, and now it is at a standstill. And the president is asking us to give him 7 days to resolve the issue. Do you know how many people are going to die within the next 7 days? Or those that have already died as a result of this terrible policy that was rushed through and rushedly implemented. So if you look at the powers of the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, and also which includes the principal objectives of the Central Bank Act of Nigeria 2007, there is nowhere it says that the governor has the power to influence any election. It has even neglected its primary objective, which is ensure monetary and price stability. What does it cost today to buy food? What are the prices for commodities today? What are the prices for petroleum products today? What are the prices for goods and services in Nigeria today? We're not talking about the small businesses that have been wiped out of the economy as a result of this policy. There is no provisions for them to effectively carry on with their businesses. They can neither make digital payment nor pay in cash. It is my strong opinion that this policy should have been delayed in order for the infrastructures to be put in place before you force people to go digital. And the people that you are preventing from rigging, buying votes, they are still having access to this new currency. So who is suffering as a result of this policy? And you look at the society today, the politicians, the political parties, they are going about their normal duty as if nothing is happening in the country. People are still campaigning. The president, President Muhammadu Buhari, having functions advising foreign countries on how to go about having a sound economy. Whereas there is fire in his own country, which he has inflamed. It is saddened to see what is happening in the economy, to see what is happening in the society. People have been mentally affected, psychologically impacted by what has been going on in this country. People have mental health issues, and they've been pushed against the wall with nowhere to go. The politicians have lost touch. They don't even appreciate what people are going through. They're saying a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. Gain for what? You're trying to take money out of the economy or out of the society to go to back into the banking system. And the banks that you're bringing the money into are at the same time pushing this money back out, because they only benefit when the money is out there outside of the banking system, because you cannot have a paper trail of how the money moves around. So based on what I've said so far, I think this policy is bound for the disaster. I don't see things getting easier in the next 1 or so month. Okay guys, that is what I wanted to talk about today. That the central bank governor has overstepped the power given to him by the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007, because he's indirectly influencing the process, the electoral process, which is wrong. I wouldn't say that he's committed a crime, but he is just doing that by looking to influence the election by his act. Because I see no reason why bringing this such policy, and at the end of the day, the people that you are trying to encourage to provide digital service are the one taking this money back onto the society, back onto outside of the banking system, and nothing is being done. And they've allowed the citizens to continue to suffer severe hardship. Well guys, let me stop here. I hope you've understood all that I've said, and please stay safe. My advice is that it is what it is. You can make your grievance, you can make the way you feel, you can make it count by going out in mass to go and vote for your candidate. Remember, I've said here before, whoever you elect as the president this month, you've deserved that person. And whatever it is the person brings to the table, you deserve it as well. So guys, go out there, go and vote. I encourage you, and make sure you vote for the candidate that you believe will not treat you the way we've been treated today. A candidate that will look at what is happening and try to correct those wrongs, especially amending some of our laws that are so negatively drafted, that are so badly drafted. Okay guys, please like the program, provide your comments. It's good to engage, as I always say. We are learning. If you think that I'm wrong, point me to that area that I'm wrong, and then I will also provide the reason why I have gone down the routes that I've gone down. So see you next time. Have a good time, and please stay safe, and do as much as possible, do everything within your power to remain positive. Take care guys. See you next time. Bye bye.